In January, Tigrayan rebel forces said they began handing over tanks and heavy weapons as part of a peace deal brokered last November to end the bloody conflict that broke out in late 2020 when Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed deployed the army in a bid to topple Tigrayan leaders. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is said to meet with Abiy in Addis Ababa Wednesday. One leading human rights advocate told VOA that Abiy is hoping to get economic aid and a pledge of normalized relations from Blinken, although the country is still not at peace.
I'm going to suggest that it's actually not a peace as such. There is a cessation of hostilities agreement, which has, in fact, brought some relief to the suffering of the people of Ethiopia, particularly in the north, in the Tigray region. So some aid can get through, communications are flowing, fuel prices are down, food prices are down. All of this is very positive. What I really want the United States government to know, however, is that it is not all sunshine and roses. There are still abuses happening throughout not just the Tigray region, but in other parts of the country.
Another senior human rights advocate agreed.
We are asking that Secretary Blinken really center all of his engagements with the government of Ethiopia around human rights. While we have seen an improvement in the situation in northern Tigray since the signing of the cessation of hostilities, there still needs to be improved access throughout the country for humanitarian actors and human rights monitors. We also still need to see more commitment on justice and accountability, and would really like for Secretary Blinken to push that.
Earlier this year, France and Germany's foreign ministers visited Ethiopia, reviewing stocks of humanitarian aid and holding talks with leaders. They called for establishing a transitional justice mechanism to punish human rights abuses committed during the conflict, saying there can be no reconciliation without accountability. Sarah Yeager told VOA she agrees.
Ethiopia has been backsliding on democracy and freedoms across the country, and abuses are still continuing in some of those same places where the worst suffering has happened. So we are seeing detentions, killings, sexual violence.
Despite unresolved issues, there is optimism. After the ceasefire agreement late last year, flights resumed for the first time in 18 months between Addis Ababa and the Tigrayan capital Mekelle. A woman told reporters, "When you have peace, you have everything." Cindy Saine, VOA News.